Today we will start the Unit 3 Rickettsia prowazekii. In this Unit 3 there are 2 diseases. First one is Rickettsia prowazekii. In this video we are going to discuss about introduction, disease name, host, vector, transmission, incubation period, symptoms, prophylaxis and treatment of this rickettsia. In this diagram you can observe the rickettsia, which is bacillus, and it is one type of parasite. Rickettsia is obligate parasite, intracellular parasite, that is it grows inside the cell. Again, it is a gram negative Coccobacillus belonging to the genus Rickettsia. It is causative agent of epidemic typhus, which is transmitted by the human body louse. The genus Rickettsia was divided into spotted fever group and typhus group. The one additional group is there, that is TRG, transitional group is also present, ancestral group is also there. These are the latest varieties. The spotted fever group has outer membrane protein A and B, while typhus group lacks outer membrane protein. The vectors for the spotted fever group are ticks, and while vectors for the typhus group are fleas and lice. The disease called epidemic typhus. Mortality due to this disease, depending on a clinical setting, in untreated primary infection, the mortality can be up to 60%, with the highest mortality occurring in elderly and malnourished patients. Means this disease causes mortality also, but that mortality is seen in old age people as well as malnourished people, that is which gets the less nourished, and due to which they get a mortality increased. The host and vector of this disease. The hosts are humans, natural vertebrates, guinea pig, mice, cotton rats, etc. This disease is transferred through vector. The vector for epidemic typhus is a human body louse, Pediculus humanus. The rickettsia multiplies in the gut of epithelium of the body louse, means in the intestine of the body louse this rickettsia multiplies, then eventually killing the body louse in the process. In this regard, rickettsia is a unique because no another or other known members of rickettsia kill their vector. Means this rickettsia, after multiplication, it kills its own vector, as well as after death of vector it is viable. The rickettsia viable in a dead louse as well as in the louse feces, which is present on the body of the vector, body of host. It is only member of genus Rickettsia to cause latent infection manifesting years to decades later. The human body louse is only vector and not a reservoir. Means this louse cannot act as a reservoir of disease because infected lice die 5 to 7 days after they become infected with rickettsia. This time period is variable. Vector in this diagram, body lice, is seen, and host, human being, which is infected, causing the lesions or red spots on the body. The reservoirs worldwide, there are no reservoir other than the human. Means rickettsia is found only on the human body. United States, the flying squirrel is reservoir in nature. The transmission from flying squirrel to human is not explicitly defined. The typhus cases caused by the flying squirrels are not related to body lice as a vectors, are known as asylvatic typhus. The transmission of this disease, the rickettsia multiplies in gut of epithelium of body louse, then it exploits into the gastrointestinal tract. Eventually, after killing the lice, in that process, it infects the human being. In this regard, rickettsia is unique because no other known members of rickettsia kill their vector. This rickettsia remain viable, means remain having a possibility of infection after the death of vector also. And it is also present in dried feces of the body louse for up to several months. It is the only member of genus Rickettsia to cause the latent infection and manifesting years to decades later. The infected louse starts to infect human being within 2 to 4 weeks, remaining infective till they die. Lice may transfer from person to person, means first louse get infected, then it lives up to 2 to 4 weeks infected condition, and then up till the death of lice it can infect the human being. And after that, these lice also transfer from person to person and transmission occur. Infection transmitted by scratching, the feces get mixed with minute abrasions and mix into the human body. But the dried condition of body parts as well as feces content forms aerosols, and aerosols may be enter into another person through inhalation or through conjunctiva. In this way, transmission of rickettsia occurs. Its incubation period is 10 to 15 days. After infection, it remains as it is, and after 10 to 15 days, it is again variable, but it starts to show symptoms. The symptoms of epidemic typhus are high fever. That fever may be from 102 to 106 Fahrenheit, which may last up to 2 weeks, or it shows severe headache, myalgias, dry cough, delirium, stupor, and dull red rash that begins on the trunk within several days and spreads peripherally. Palms and soles are spared, which is unlike the rash due to rickettsia, where palms and soles are typically involved. The illness can progress, leading to hypertension, shock, as well as it can be end into death. In patient, reactivation of rickettsia infection often occurs in the context of malnutrition, chronic illness, and in the presence of poor hygiene, leading to greater density of lice. It includes a several severe headache, sustained high fever, chills, and cough. The rash is often present or absent. Patient may show confusion, stupor means almost unconsciousness, and their thoughts are not clear and seeming out of touch with reality. Eye sensitivity to bright light, muscle pain is also there, and if remain untreated, it may result into death. The treatment is there. Primary treatment of epidemic typhus is doxycycline 100 milligram per by mouth twice daily until the patient improves and has been for the afferable for 24 to 48 hours. The total duration of treatment is typically between 7 to 10 days. And the another treatment is chloramphenicol 500 mg orally or intravenously 4 times daily for 7 to 10 days is an alternative treatment. In severe cases, supportive therapy with intravenous fluids is recommended. Critically ill patients may have marked capillary permeability and can easily succumb to pulmonary and cerebral edema. The vaccines are no longer produced for a routine clinical use. These types of the treatment are available, but prevention is most important than the treatment. Hence, prophylaxis or the prevention of this disease is having a most important part. The usual medical and sanitary measures must be energetically carried out in all the villages as well as cities. Early detection of cases of typhus and isolation of these patients is most important. Lousing of people and their bedding and houses. Primary infection of louse-borne typhus relies on measures to avoid infestation with a body lice. Body lice are transmitted primarily by direct contact with an infested person. Transmission of body lice also occurs through fomites like clothes or beddings. In this way, this epidemic typhus can be minimized, can be prevented with help of a good sanitary measures and cleanliness.